All right, Anissa. It's so good to have you. You are totally one of my favorite people. I don't know if I've ever told you that out loud, but I just adore you. I think you know that, but I just absolutely do. And I'm excited because I've had the privilege and the honor of watching you just kind of, I mean, you've been this powerful entrepreneur when I first met you, and now I see you just kind of like growing and just being this force to be reckoned with, and I'm excited about it. So why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself and what you do in your own words, and then we'll put your bio in the show notes and all that. But tell them what you want them to know about you.
Well, thank you so much. That means a lot. I connected with you a couple years ago, and it's like, we're on this journey, and sometimes it feels like we're on this journey alone as business owners and as entrepreneurs. And then you come across somebody that you're like, this is the person that I need to add to my tribe to make me a better person. And that's what happened when I connected with you. I knew, like, from our first contact, like, all right, this is my person. This is going to help me be a better person. So thank you so much for that. I've been with you with coaching, and then now with the Network in Action group, and both experiences have been amazing for me, personally and professionally. So yeah, I've grown a lot with you, and you've experienced this where I've had to really pivot my business and adjust to things that are kind of outside of my control, and then things that are just pure desire. And it's really fun when you make changes because you want to make them.
Yes.
So so now what I do and what I'm all about here is I have a marketing agency that helps business owners and store owners market their business to get more traffic and to strengthen their brand. I specifically focus on home decor, home furniture stores, and interior designs. That's where my creativity is really matched with my marketing strategy and business operation background.
Oh my God. Well, because I have kind of seen you make this powerful pivot. I say it that way on purpose because, like you said, choice is powerful. When you're just like, these are the people I want to work with, and this is what I'm doing to make that happen. I love seeing that. What specifically brought about that group? What drew you to that particular audience that you're going to be serving?
Yeah, so my agency was a full service agency that I didn't have a niche. I was just more focused on being of service to business owners and providing strategy marketing just to help them grow. And I was so focused on the business owner, which is important,
Yeah.
but it was almost as if the customer was secondary because I was so focused on my customer, which was the business owner.
Yeah.
So I took a step back, and I love home design. I love decorating my house. I'm on Pinterest all the time.
Yes.
So I took a step back and said, what do I love doing as a consumer? And where do I find my solace in doing that in my piece? And it was in home decorating. So then I said, okay, I know how to talk to that person because I am that person.
Mhm.
So that's where that mind shift happened, where I love servicing my clients, but I know that they're just a vessel to get to the true customer experience. So that's where that pivot came into play.
And it makes such perfect sense. So today you're in this beautiful wingback chair that I love, but normally you have that beautiful like feature wall behind you,
Yes.
right? And I know
Love.
you all did that yourself, and I'm just like, I know you got some ideas for people in that space. You've proven that, and I've seen some pictures around your house as well, so I know that's something that you're really, really good at. That's interesting. I didn't know that. So something I didn't mention, and I'm going to say it, is that this is just not Anissa Viegas, who is powerful in and of herself, but this is Dr. Anissa Pena, shall I say. And the cool thing I love about, that is that I've met so many people who have a PhD, lots of people who have PhD. I don't think I've ever met anyone with a PhD with a specific focus in marketing. Tell me a little bit about, first of all, why marketing? How did that kind of come to play for you many, many years ago? And how are you using that experience, that education as you serve your clients now?
Yeah, so it's super fun. And it's been a couple of years here that I've had this doctorate, and I still am not used to being called Dr. Anissa. And I always feel like I need to put a disclaimer. I don't even know CPR. I'm not that type of doctor. But yes, so I have a doctorate in business, and where my dissertation comes into play is I created a dissertation, and as a result of that, consumer theory focused on millennial consumer behaviors online and video game based elements. And it was a very interesting journey, and it's kind of a nerdy topic that I just enjoy, but it actually started from a different journey I was taking with my doctorate and my research. I started off the first 2 years of my doctoral college doing research on big data analysis and focusing on the facial recognition cameras in New York City, because they were the first city to put up cameras in every corner. So I was definitely geeking out on that, is big data analysis. How do we process all this information and take it into something that is of use to apply in our everyday lives? So I realized that was a big monster to take on. So I took a step back and I shifted and went towards, how do I understand how people behave and to take that to apply to everyday life? And that's what led me down the path of consumer psychology and behaviors. And then as I was doing my research, I found that there was no, in doctoral research, we always want to find that gap in knowledge. And my gap in knowledge that I discovered was that at the time I published, there was no known academic based research on millennials. Mm-hmm. And everything that was published prior to my research was business trends or kind of assumed tactics, but there was nothing that had a very specific scientific component to it. So I found that gap and I just ran with it. And it was really interesting. And I am a millennial, so to be exposed to why I do what I do is not a fun thing. I don't like knowing why I do the things I do.
That's pretty cool. And so now, bringing all that experience and all the work that you've done with other people in your agency and helping other organizations, as you make this shift and this pivot, how do you intend to use that information to help the interior designers and the furniture stores and the people who kind of work in that space that you're really now targeting and focusing on?
Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of research before I made that change, and I saw that millennials, especially the older millennials, are the ones that are purchasing homes and decorating their homes and really wanting the experts to come in and help them decorate or show them how to. So by knowing the millennial behaviors, it's just so in line with who is making those purchases in my target audience. So that's a real fun way of applying all this knowledge I have. But then I take it a step further and I created a consumer theory that really talks about why millennials do what they do in regards to social media presence. So I take those elements and I add that to an overall strategy. And that's where the magic happens. It's a really fun experience. I've had clients that their brand has really blown up in a very local hyper target focus. And it's to the point where they're saying, I have too much work. And to me, I'm like, yay, it's done. Whoa.
Good problem. Excellent problem. So those of you all who happen upon this video and are hearing this, I guarantee you don't have your marketing person. I'm going to say my marketing person is better than yours because you're not going to find a lot of people, and, no disrespect to those who have, dug themselves in and really figured out how to do marketing, because everyone who's doing it well has their own story. But I promise you're probably not finding people that come to the table with this level of experience, research, thought processes around the way that they do marketing. So you want to know Anissa, you want to spend some time with her. And if you're specifically in the market that she's talking about, you want to make sure that you have someone who's coming with you in mind and coming with your customer in mind. That's probably the first time I've heard someone in your field talk about that you're not only focused on the business owner, but their customer, because that's really where the magic happens for sure, right?
Yeah, it's a big thing. It's a wall that I hit where I kept thinking, and I think we're all guilty of this in my arena here, is that we keep thinking of, how do I keep my client happy? Mm-hmm. And I think that's just a general, it's not just marketing, it's just in general. We have clients or customers, how do we keep them happy? And then I took a step back and I was like, of course I want my client to be happy, but where the impact is most valuable is if their customers are happy. So then it's almost like I need to remove their like piece of the puzzle
Mhm.
from the equation here and just say, hey, it's not about you. And I am a huge fan of Jasmine Star, and her big line is, girl, get over yourself.
Yeah.
And I tell myself that a lot, where, as business owners, we think we know what we want for our customers. And it's almost like we need to say, get over yourself. It's not about you, it's about them, and their journey is uniquely theirs.
Yeah.
So that's what was really fun, to kind of get past that and say, okay, I need to service them as much as I'm servicing you, if not more.
Oh man, I love that. It's really funny, and I think as business owners, without meaning to be, we're very vain, and we get very married to our own ideas. And I want it to look this way, and I want, forgetting in some cases the fact that it really isn't about us. It really is about the people who are called to serve. And if they're happy, literally, it makes us happy because our bottom line changes in a positive direction. So I love that. I love it so much. So you mentioned being a part of our group, Network in Action. Whether it be around Network in Action or just networking, period. Tell me how networking to this point has really helped you to come in contact with more of your ideal clients or meet people that you believe are going to be great partners for you as you're growing your business.
Yeah, so that's a fun question, because I always thought of myself as a social butterfly and just easy to talk to people. But then I'm put in a room with a bunch of strangers that I know are all business owners, and I'm like, I don't know what to say. And there's a lot of like, it's a roller coaster of feelings. Like it was intense for me. And then I started getting a lot of anxiety around networking, where I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And then it turned from this fun experience to this experience I just hated doing. And it was a chore. So I had to like really look at it differently and say, these are my friends that don't know they're my friends yet.
Yes, I love that. Love it
So
so much.
once I made that approach, it changed the way I like address things, because I I was very guilty of going into network meetings extremely selfish. And I like to think of it this way. You wouldn't go into a relationship that selfish, where how can I get money out of this person? How can I get a client out of this? What can I get for me? I wouldn't go into any relationship like that where it's me, me, me. So networking has shifted, where I go in and think, you. How can I service you and show up for you? And as a result, we can just grow and walk on this journey together. So that's really helped me and not have anxiety about this, because it was almost like when I went into networking events, it was a competition.
Mm.
And taking that view of, I'm just here to help and to service people. And as a result, they will tell other people about me.
Yeah.
That's been where I've seen the best experiences. And networking action has been great for that. My very first meeting was that we didn't talk about what we did for our business. We talked about what we were passionate about. And it was a really fun exercise for me, because after the meeting, I was driving home and I was thinking, I am so blessed and I hit the lottery of life. I truly have, where I can tell a stranger what my passion is, and it's what I do every day for a living. So
Oh,
that's amazing.
yes. Oh my God. I'm so glad. I have here, I wrote it down because I thought it was so powerful. I forget where I heard it initially, but it says, instead of here I am, like you walk into a room, like here I am, look at me. It's like, instead of here I am, it's like, there you are. And it changes your perspective, because you're not walking in the room like, oh, it's all about me, look at me, talk to me, give me money. It really is, hey, there you are. Tell me about you. How can I help you? Who do you need to meet? It really shifts, I think, your perspective around networking. And I'm, again, kind of watching just how you've just literally, I can't think of another better word, but just blossom, and seeing how you go into the room and you're like interacting with people and adding so much value to our group. And I'm sure to other networking events that you attend. It just really is powerful to see that, when that mindset shifts, everything else shifts around it. And I think that has a lot to do with your level of confidence. And so will you share with us what you consider to be your networking, not your networking, your confidence journey? Going from maybe not seeing yourself as, as confident into where you are right now. What has been that journey for you?
it has been a journey as it exactly. It's definitely been this like odyssey, this long journey that I've been on that I didn't realize how how kind of wounded I was with my confidence, and that it was like I had to do some searching on what happened that made me think, okay, I'm not able to communicate with people, or I don't like big groups, or what was that all about? Because I was extremely uncomfortable with being on camera, being in big group settings, having to be just the elevator speeches. Like I would miss out on everybody's speech in a networking event because all I could think about is what am I going to say because I'm like 5 people away from my turn.
Yes. Wow.
So I my journey really started with and I mentioned this to you earlier, is that it's really about not sitting in the audience of your life and being the star of the show that you are in.
Mhm.
And that was a big moment for me to process, because and it wasn't just one moment, it's several little instances that makes me think I'm the star of my own show. And
Yeah.
it's almost like you have to keep reminding yourself, like, this is my life and I'm living it. And again, to go back to quoting Jasmine Star, where I love what she says is, your opinion doesn't pay my bills. And
Mm,
that was
yes.
huge to me because I get so hung up, especially with my doctorate degree, of always trying to be of a higher knowledge base and sharing things at a very clear and concise presentation. So I felt like I was processing things and missing out on life because I was trying to be so clear and precise on how I delivered. And I wanted to make sure I was articulating so well that I wasn't listening. And
Mm.
I missed out on so much by not listening. So that was a big, big thing for me. So it was several moments. And I'm a lifelong learner. Like, I'm nowhere near complete, but I am enjoying this journey, and I'm embracing it, and I stopped fighting it because I've always I've always struggled with confidence. And I think there was always these little excuses of, oh, if I lost 10 pounds, I would be ready. Oh, if I got my teeth whitened, I'll be ready. Or, oh, if I got 10 more followers on Facebook, I'll be ready. There was always these random excuses. Even, let me eat lunch first, then I'll be ready. We put up these excuses, and the reality is we're sitting on the sidelines of our life. And it's the saddest thing. Like, be the star of the show and embrace it. And if no one else values you or what you're saying or is going to judge you, they don't pay your bills. It doesn't matter.
There you go. Oh my God, this is so good. I am so glad that we're having this conversation. I'm so glad that we were able to kind of share everything. And I'm going to be posting, by the way, I'll be putting it in the show notes, the link to your video that you did that I thought was so powerful. It was so very just heartfelt. And I could just see your confidence just coming through on the screen because it was just you. It wasn't a performance. You know what I mean? And I love that you're saying, show up and be the star of your own show. But the cool thing about it is when it's your show, you don't have to perform. You don't have to learn the script. You don't have to, it's just like you're just showing up and everyone's coming in order to gain something, to glean something from you. And that's a blessing. And I saw it and I want other people to see that video. So we'll put it in the show notes and you all can take a look at it, especially in this time. At the time of this recording, we're in the quarantine, the Corona quarantine. And I love the message that you gave, as far as where we are right now and just to be and just to show up, be, serve, and all those things. So I am so glad. I wish we had like hours to talk. Unfortunately, this time we don't. We will definitely talk again. But is there anything else that you'd like to share with those who will be listening to this? And then please make sure you share how people can get in touch with you when, not if, when they're ready to work with you.
All right. Well, yeah, I think kind of my parting notes here would be is show up for your audience and just love yourself and love your audience. They're your best friend. And that's a big thing with marketing. And that I've seen a lot of kind of pitfalls is that the brand is superior to the audience. You're not. You and your audience are one and the same. So that is huge, is be there for your audience, be true, be genuine, and they will love you and be your best friend. And how to connect with me is be my friend. I'm on Facebook. It's Anissa Pena. And yeah, just friend request me and we'll be BFFs, and you'll see all the fun things I post about my kids that are running around here during quarantine, driving me crazy.
I love that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I've gotten a lot of gems from this as well, and I know everybody else will too. So make sure you reach out to Anissa. Make sure you become her friend, and I guarantee you'll be better for it. Thank you all so much for being here with us. We'll see you next time.